you're a very nice and wonderful guy. I mean, pretty soon you're going to be on television and in movies and everything.
This is supposed to be me.
See, it, you know,
This is to the child out there that hasn't come to terms with himself.
well, actually, uh, I saw a, on television one time where, oh, they were talking about marriage and all. A lot of men live their whole life with another man. That that's wonderful. And if they want to have children, they can adopt.
So
There's a
you
lot
believe
of
that's okay?
sure,
Do you think it should be legal for men to marry men and women to marry women?
sure,
Why do you
sure,
think that they're not
for
allowing
sure, for sure.
it?
I
Why?
don't know why this state doesn't allow it.
Do you see, since you've gone through many changes in the world, um, can you see this as being comparable to when blacks had to sit on the back of the bus?
That's de- that's deplorable. That's why I didn't watch Color Purple. That showed how the blacks were treated in those days, and that deplorable. And I wouldn't even. I wouldn't even.
It was too difficult for you to watch it?
I couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't do
So
it.
during the time when they had separate water fountains and
Oh, that's deplorable. I lived in a neighborhood when we where there was half and half, and my daughter also. My daughter, she feels the same way as I
so
did.
you saw it as wrong at the time.
Wrong. Yes.
And so when there was a liberation and the freedom, what was that? Do you think the white people or whoever it was that was against the combination, were they scared that the blacks were going to take over?
No, no,
What were they
no,
scared of? Why?
no.
What was holding them back?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where. I don't know. There's good and there's bad and
Okay, let me change the
black.
subject. Let's go to when there was a time where you were not able to vote. Is that correct?
Yeah, before I was 18. What is it? 18?
Were you always able to vote? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Since you were 18.
I
Okay. Well, since I don't know history very well, there was a time where women were not able to vote, and I could have sworn that was more recent, but like in the 40s or 50s. I'll have to check my.
that wouldn't.
I'll have to
that,
Google it.
that wouldn't bother me anyway.
It wouldn't bother you that you
No.
couldn't vote?
No.
Why is that?
Well, no,
So you think men should be in control of the decisions that happen in this world?
right, right,
That's
right.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what if men are the ones that are controlling the idea that gays should not be able to be married?
They're wrong.
So what do you have to do in order to make change when you see
I
something
think-
that's wrong?
I think maybe not in my time, but I know that eventually every state will allow marriage. Every state.
For gays.
Mm-hmm. I know it is.
So what if women couldn't vote? And women are the ones that are supporting the idea of gay marriage.
Well,
Don't you think that it's
I don't.
important that some women can vote?
I don't really care one way or the other.
So you don't vote.
No, I do. I do.
But what if the right was taken away from you?
I wouldn't care.
Yeah, it's just one less trip to the place to the polls. One last trip. One less trip to the polls to go vote.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really.
If it's close, if it's close by, I'll vote. But if it's far away, I don't.
Okay, how do you feel about health care? Do you need Medicare?
I don't, but I think it's very necessary. I think it's very necessary because not everybody. Look at the soldiers are coming back now, and they need. I mean, you know, we don't have. The state doesn't have any place for them. I mean, assuming they're not married or they're coming back and they can't find a job. They need Medicare. They need a place. I mean, look at they
Fought for our country.
yeah.
They deserve a place to come back to and get health care.
And they have.
And be treated well.
Right, and they should be treated properly.
All right, speaking of the military,
Mm-hmm.
you know that the Don't Ask, Don't... have you heard of the Don't Ask, Don't... You know that it was removed this year. How did you feel about that?
Oh, yeah, I think it's fine.
You think
Sure,
it's a good
sure.
thing that they are now just allowing gays in the military?
Yes,
How did you feel about it when they started the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy?
I think it's very good.
You think it was good that people were not allowed to say that they were gay?
Well, if they don't want to tell,
Well-
so be it.
Well, the Don't Ask... Actually, gays were kicked out of the military for being gay. And then the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy came along.
Yeah.
And they said, well, as long as you don't tell anyone, as long as you keep yourself a secret from the rest of us, even though everyone else can talk about their wives. So you can see where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I think it was ridiculous from the very beginning. And, you know, that's just my opinionated...
Well, it's better that way than
to have them kicked out.
kicking them out and because they're gay. I mean, that's really ridiculous too.
Well, yeah, it's the whole thing is ridiculous.
Right. But this is kind of a step forward.
It is a step forward.
Yeah.
You're right. You know,
And eventually, they won't even, you know, they'll drop it and say, you know, everybody is, you know.
Everybody's okay. Yeah, I mean, when
Yeah.
something like a nuclear bomb hits us, I think we're going to be worried less about who's having sex with who.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't...
The only thing I worried about is AIDS.
Why do you worry about AIDS?
Because look at Liberace and the other movie star, I can't remember his name. Nobody knew that he was gay. I can't remember. I have very much difficulty in remembering names, but there's so many people that died from AIDS because they weren't careful.
And because they didn't get the proper medical attention as well. All right, so we've got to wrap it up. Thank you very much for giving me your time. It's been my pleasure coming up and getting to know you a little bit better.